Okay, from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, sir? How are you?
I'm doing okay. I had a pretty good day. We're recording this one a little later than our usual time because I had something social to do this afternoon.
You left your place. Good for you, man.
I left my place and I saw people, and so that's it for me for the year.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
That's good enough.
Yep.
I've seen the news. Yeah, just go out once and then that's it. Like
That's all I need.
The world's a hellscape, and the indoors is your haven.
Yeah, but it was fun. One of my friends just recently got married. Just got married today.
Ooh.
And he was doing a little post-wedding reception get-together at a local bar restaurant establishment.
Go into the chapel and we're gonna get married. Like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
How about you? What's new in Darren world? Living the life, chasing the dream. I know that.
Yeah, of course.
I know that.
I know that. Yeah, not much today. Today's been a pretty quiet weekend. Working on my writing and my jokes. And
Nice.
I actually did just finish up this weekend watching the new Kids in the Hall reboot that's out on Amazon.
I haven't gotten to check that out yet. I wasn't sure like if it was on Amazon or if it was on HBO Max or what. So it's on Amazon. How'd you like it?
I really liked it. Like part of me was kind of wary of it because I was like, it's been so long. They're older men now. They're like in their 60s. Like,
That's so weird to think.
Yeah, like I knew that because I think like during when I saw them doing like interviews at like on the red carpet, I saw like Dave Foley talk to an interviewer, and like of course he was making fun of the fact that they're all old men now, and he said something like, "Yeah, I'm 59 and I'm the youngest of the bunch."
Wow.
So I was like, "Ooh, yeah." So like my part of me was wondering, well, do they still, is their sense of humor still there, or is it a thing where maybe it was funny in its time, but now that times has changed, do they still got it? Is their sense of humor still funny? It's still relevant? And
but you liked it.
I'm proud to say, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. A lot of it, a lot of absurdist stuff, a lot of meta jokes. There's a ton of meta jokes. Like it starts off with a joke about brain candy.
Nice.
There, of course, the Kids in a Hall movie that famously bombed. Which even though
bombed.
Yeah, even though it should not have, I'll go to bat for that movie every time. It was a solid film.
Okay.
And
well, that's one.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
No, I don't really have an opinion on Brain Candy. I haven't seen it all the way through. My late friend Frankie was a big Kids in the Hall fan, and he enjoyed Brain Candy, as I recall. So
okay, yeah, I think it's. I mean, I don't even know if you can find it on streaming anywhere now. I think it's kind of been erased.
Yeah, it's kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, but yeah, like there's like some dark humor in there, some surreal humor in there. There's some edgy stuff in there, like they bring back some. Yeah, like I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but first episode, some of I'll say this: two of the kids in the hall are very comfortable with their bodies. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay, so male nudity in the show.
Your words, not mine.
Sold. That's all I need.
Your words, not mine.
How many episodes was it?
It's 8 episodes, half hour each.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so pretty quick marathon.
Yeah.
There was also some big news involving SNL alums this week. They announced that they're doing Spinal Tap 2.
Woo!
I mean, can you believe that?
I cannot. Like, I mean, part of me thought, well, why, to quote the great Lorne Michaels, why now?
Yeah, I mean, that's... After all these years, I wouldn't think that they would do that unless they had like a really good idea or they really, really wanted to do it. So fingers crossed that it's good. I mean, sequels are tough and comedy sequels are really, really tough.
Absolutely.
So I hope they do something that's in the same league as the first movie.
Yeah, like I was a big fan of the first film, and I'm again like you. It's very much like a Coming to America thing for me, where like I in theory I want there to be a sequel, but I I really want it to be a good sequel. I don't want it to be just
Yeah,
like a retread of
because you don't want something that's going to tarnish your memory of the original. And
exactly.
I'm not too afraid of that because the first one is still the first one. And they've done other reunion things. They did a TV special in like '92, I think it was.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'd be neat to see. And they always seem to just fall back into those characters effortlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't know a whole lot of details. Did we cover the original Spinal Tap on
We
this show, or did we just go on a massive tangent about Spinal Tap one week?
we just went on a massive tangent. We to this date
Okay.
we have not done an episode about This Is Spinal Tap, and that is egregious.
It really is. We're 187 episodes in. You would think we would have covered Spinal Tap by this point. I think it's because I keep thinking we've done it because we on one episode we went on a massive Spinal Tap tangent, and I don't even remember what episode that was anymore. So
Who can say? Who can say?
who can say? Science has not perfected a means for us to tell which episode we talked about that in. I mean,
Yeah.
so it is a mystery lost to the ages.
One day we'll get there.
I bet it's on our missing episode with John Schneider.
Oh boy.
Is that episode 122?
Maybe possibly, yeah, maybe
I
it
think
is.
it was 122. And
It might be. It might be on that lost episode.
yeah,
Never to be heard from again.
no, we covered so much ground in that one. We uncovered the secret to life, the universe, and everything. And
Yeah.
it's a shame that our recording that week wasn't better.
That's right. The
That was a
answer.
great episode, you guys.
Yeah, sorry guys. We did it. We had the answer to the universe. We put it down on wax on this
Yeah.
podcast, and yeah, we goofed and it just erased. So
In retrospect, we should have written it down.
I didn't have the pen was across the room from me. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to get up and get it.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
recording is here. This is good enough. And
I mean, this will last the ages. Nothing is ever going to go wrong here.
not
And then
at
Dewey
all.
Cox's brother got cut in half, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, hey now.
Wrong kid died.
Oh, all roads lead back to Dewey Cox.
They really do. They really do. But hey, why don't we talk about a little more SNL news, and then we'll get to this week's episode. How's that sound?
Let's do it, my good man.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
SNL, they announced who is going to be hosting their season finale, their season 47 finale, and it's kind of a surprising choice, I think.
It kind of is, yeah. But I mean, if you think about it a little bit more, it's like, this kind of tracks.
And that's what you want for a season finale. Host choice who kind of tracks. Of course we're talking about Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll and the American Pie movies, and was it Slums of Beverly Hills that she did?
Slums of Beverly Hills. She was in the movie "But I'm a Cheerleader," which has
that's right.
has a huge gay queer following. Of course, Orange Is the New Black. That's where she made her big comeback.
Right.
I think she was in one of the Blade movies too, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably was, yeah. Who
but
can say?
Yeah.
Who
There's
can
no
say?
way to find out.
No way to find out. No way to find out. And also musical guest Japanese Breakfast, who I don't know much about. You were telling me they were sort of like a folky alternative type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them. I know they're a band out of Philly, and yeah, they're like sort of art, pop, indie rock type of stuff. Like I've heard some of their stuff on Spotify, and it's nice, kind of pleasant stuff. Kind of nice and kicky. Kind of sounds like something you hear in an iPhone commercial. It's nice. I like it.
Okay, all right. I like some of them iPhone commercials.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I'm not really looking forward to seeing Natasha Lyonne host SNL.
Gasp! Yeah, you told me this, and I clutched my pearls. I thought like everybody liked Natasha Lyonne. She's like quirky and New York and funny, and she's all like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing, there,
used
fella?"
to be Fred Armisen until very recently. Apparently, they broke up over a swimming pool. I read that online.
Oh well, the fellas.
Something about her just pushes the wrong buttons for me. I find her very annoying. I think what I can pinpoint it to was when she guest starred on How Did This Get Made, that great podcast where it's who hosts How Did This Get Made? I'm blanking on everyone's names. Manzukis
You blanked on Paul Scheer,
Paul Scheer,
Manzukis, and
Diane Raphael.
you blanked on the entire.
I did. I was picturing all their faces. And anyway, so Natasha Lyonne was their guest for an episode. I believe they were talking about Superman 4. And I'm a geek, so I was like, oh, well, this will be great fodder for this podcast. And Natasha Lyonne was on there, and she didn't even bother watching the movie.
Oh, so that's why you don't like her, because she
So
like.
she was just a drag on the whole damn podcast. And I've just not been inclined. I remember enjoying Slums of Beverly Hills back in the day, but
Okay.
and also I find her voice very grating.
It's
So
it's a very raspy.
yeah,
She has like a strong, almost like Brooklyn accent. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
yeah,
how you doing, Kid Ray?
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Natasha
And
Leone,
so,
Maron.
and though even though I know Russian Doll has gotten wonderful reviews and it sounds like a neat premise and everything, I'm just like, no, sorry, that's kind of a non-starter for me. I can't really watch her in that because I think she would just get on my nerves too much.
All right, I hear it.
So
Wow. All right. So this final episode, this season finale is gonna be. You're gonna love it then.
I am laying my cards on the table. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I hope I watched the show and I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. I love her now. She was awesome.
All right. Let's see if she wins you
Do
over.
do I think that's going to happen? Probably not.
Okay. All right. I think. All right. All right. I appreciate your candor, sir,
Yeah, no,
about these things.
I want to let the people know where I stand.
Yes. Let the people know right up front you're biased.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's only fair. And
Right.
but until next week, nerds out. No.
I was about to say, are we ending?
Psych. No, we're going to talk about the what you called the penultimate episode of SNL, and not just of season 47, the penultimate episode of SNL ever.
This is it.
So
It all comes down to this.
apparently next week, last episode of SNL ever. So
Yeah. All right. I made a little mistake when I tweeted out penultimate.
I thought that was so funny.
All right. You know what I meant.
I know, but I got to tease you when I can.
It was 1 a.m. I'm sleepy.
Exactly. So this week, from May 14th, 2022, season 47, episode 20, Selena Gomez, the host, and Post Malone as the musical guest. So, yeah.
Yeah. Selena Gomez, first time hosting. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, we know from Only Murders in the Building. Spring Breakers, her music career. She's been acting since she was a kid. Wizards of Waverly Place, and of course, as she mentioned in the monologue, she was in a little thing called Barney. But we'll get more into that. And Post
Yeah.
Malone, first time on the show as well. And
Interesting. Are you a fan of Post Malone?
not really.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, he kind of like rap sings while through auto tune.
It's
I'm
very
like, all
auto-tuney.
right, this
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
auto tune.
Very
He's like the new
auto-tuney.
T. He's like the new T Pain
He's
almost.
also a very, very tattooed man. He's got a lot of the face tattoos tattooed all up and down the body.
He has a look. He
He
has a
has a
look. Face
look.
that.
I mean, I could definitely pick Post Malone out of a lineup.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, when you
So
see Post Malone, you know it's Post Malone. He's not hiding.
if you just lined up any 5 random people in front of me and said identify Post Malone, I could do that.
Yeah, he's not. He's not Where's Waldoing in any crowds anytime soon.
No.
Like you see him, you're like, oh, of course, that's the large furry man with the tattoos on his face.
So this was still I'm not ultra familiar with Selena Gomez. Of course I was not watching the Disney Channel when she was a thing. I did see Spring Breakers a few years ago. It's an interesting movie.
Yeah, the Harmony Korine movies, they run hot and cold. Like
Yeah.
he has his own audience.
Yeah. It's a look. It's a distinctive look.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah, that's a funky movie. It's a funky movie.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And I haven't checked out Only Murders in the Building yet, but I hear it's great.
It's good. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah. So, how do we start on this episode? We started with the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial cold open. Surprising choice for the cold open.
Very much so. Like when they first started, I saw the MSNBC graphic. We see Kate
Yeah.
McKinnon as Nicole Wallace, one of the anchors at MSNBC, and I was thinking, oh, they're going to do their usual, cable news sort of
Hmm. Rapid
rigmarole.
fire.
Yeah,
Here's every story from this week. Yeah.
that's exactly what I was expecting, and then I was surprised where no, that we're just going to focus on the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. So I was like, oh, okay, this is an interesting take,
I
and
mean, there's enough fodder in that trial. You think you could get a decent sketch out of it. I haven't been following the trial real closely, honestly.
me neither. I kind of dip in and out. Like I know the basics,
Yeah.
like the basically the premise of this sketch, which is that Amber Heard got and Johnny Depp got into such a heated argument that Amber Heard took a poop in their bed.
Yes.
And of course I saw that on Facebook and the thousands and thousands of Amber Turd posts and jokes followed.
That is a pretty good hashtag, I gotta
It
say.
is, it is. But I was like, all right, that's
Whoever came up with Amber Turd, that's mwah, chef's kiss.
okay. Because you took a duty.
So we've got the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Uh, Playing Johnny Depp is Kyle Mooney, which I thought was kind of a weird choice.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, his Johnny Depp was interesting. Interesting
Yeah,
take. I mean, I didn't know. I haven't been really watching the trial, so I don't know that Johnny Depp had like a certain speech pattern and do like a little smirk to the camera a lot, and like he talks very slow.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I just feel like maybe somebody else could have played him a little more effectively. Maybe Alex Moffat or Mikey Day
yeah, maybe I know Moffat.
or maybe Aristotle.
Yeah, give him something to do. That I mean, maybe we can talk about that
What's
later.
going
But
on
like
there, guys?
that, it's weird, right? It's not just me.
It's so weird.
Like I mean, just right after. All right, side tangent. On this episode, we didn't have Pete, we didn't have Alex, and we didn't have Andrew. Now Andrew's
Yeah.
out because he has COVID. I think he announced it on his Instagram that he caught it a couple days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so hope he gets well. Uh, Alex, what I'm not sure why he wasn't on this episode. He was
Hmm.
he just didn't show up. I hope he doesn't have COVID.
Hope everything's okay with him and his family. I know
Yeah,
he's got wife and wait, no, or am I thinking of Mikey Day?
no,
Does
I think he just
Mikey
had.
Day has kids?
Yes, Mikey Day has kids. I think Alex just had a kid like a month ago,
Okay, and
or
I
is
know
about
James
to.
Austin Johnson just recently he had like a newborn at the start of the season.
Yeah, he had a kid back in January,
Hmm.
and Pete didn't show up because I guess Pete just doesn't show up anymore. He just is like he's so done with the show. It's pretty
It's
evident.
so weird.
He just like because he was in New York at the Met Gala with his girlfriend Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
And like he's not shooting anything to my knowledge. He's not shooting a TV show or not shooting a movie. And he's in New York and he just doesn't show up to work. So that's like what is that?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and
But
even
yeah,
with
he
yeah,
feels very done with the show.
yeah, like I fully expect for him to show up for next week's episode, the final episode, to make it official, be like, yeah, I'm leaving, bye, and then
Yeah,
that's it. Like if he
yeah.
comes back next year or next season, that'll be baffling to me. Like I really don't see him coming
Well, apparently, even if he comes back next season, he'll only be on about half the
back.
season. So
He'll be on the October episode. Like, all right, see you in the new year.
yeah, but okay. So anyway, back to the sketch.
Right.
I enjoy seeing Cecily Strong play a judge. I enjoy it most any time that Cecily Strong plays a middle aged woman of some kind.
That's her
Um,
lane.
yeah, yeah, she's good at that. And I like how Heidi as Amber Heard's lawyer is like objecting to stuff, and and Cecily's judge character just says, "Well, this does sound fun, and this trial is for fun."
Right. I see. I thought that was an interesting way to take it, where you
Hmm.
talk about how we're all kind of watching this circus. This trial about these two toxic people in this toxic environment in this toxic
Hmm.
relationship, but we're all kind of watching it like it's a reality show. That's for fun.
Yeah,
It's for fun. I thought that would be an interesting way to take it, but they didn't
yeah,
take it that way because afterwards they just show footage of surveillance footage of the Johnny Depp's bedroom, and then they show Keenan, who's their property manager, who finds the poop in the bed, and
right.
there's of course
And then
Keenan,
he calls in Ego, who's playing the landscaper,
right, and
and
it's basically all of them just talking about the poops, like ew, that's boo boo in the bed,
yeah,
that's
and then Melissa
nasty,
comes in and plays a Latina maid.
yeah.
It honestly, it felt to me like it was a whole lot of racial stereotyping in this sketch. You
It's
know,
not just me, right? I was like, this feels weird. I thought
I
we
was
were
just like,
all like,
yeah, I don't know. This is kind of weird. It's especially weird at the top of the show.
yeah, it's like
It
this.
was just a weird ass way to start the show.
It really was, and like again, like the fact that the sketch, solely relies around shit in the bed, and that's
Yeah,
kind of it. I was like, this
yeah. I
doesn't.
feel like there are other better ways they could have gone with it. I mean, like what a pardon the pun, a shit show the whole thing was.
Hi-yo. Yeah, I mean, I did like the one joke when Chris Red comes in and he sees the shit in the bed, and he talks to Keenan and says, "Oh, hey man, you finally did it. You're quitting. All right."
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cute joke. I mean, there were cool lines here and there, but
Yeah.
overall, I just thought it was odd.
Yeah, very odd. I mean, I like the fact that this is like again, like this isn't a normal, rapid fire Fox News, CNN, MSNBC
Yeah,
cold open that we're used to seeing. But I, I don't know. I felt like this cold open was, uh, it just wasn't, it just didn't get there.
it's funny because like for most of the season, we've been saying, "Oh, can't they do something different for the cold open?" And then they do this, and we're like, "No, not like that."
Yeah,
So
different and good. That's what we want. Different and good.
the cold open, by the way, this was co-written by Michael Che and Brian
Mm.
Tucker. So,
All right. I mean,
and usually like both those guys,
I
but
do. Yeah, me too. But like really, like out of all the things we can we all the directions we can go with this Amber Heard just Johnny Depp trial, we're going with just shit in the bed, just just a turd in the sheets. That's all we're doing.
yep, yep, that's what we're doing. Anyway, moving on. We got the Selena Gomez monologue. Which that's where it's the beginning of the show when she comes out and she like talks to the audience and she kind of like introduces the show
Yeah, I heard of that.
and she tells you like who the musical guest is and stuff.
I heard of that. I heard it.
No big whoop.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah, yeah. Starts out saying that pointing out that she has worked with Barney and she has a
Mm-hmm.
little picture of her as a little girl working on the Barney the Dinosaur show, which that was big in early 90s, I want to say.
Yeah, like early
Yeah.
'90s, mid '90s. Barney was everywhere. He was.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, he was bigger than the Beatles.
Like physically.
Yes, that's right.
Physically bigger than the Beatles.
Yeah, that's what I meant. What'd you think of it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He was like very tall and he was a very stout purple dinosaur. So yes, he was bigger than every last one of the Beatles.
Right. Yeah. He was bigger. He was as big as I'd say like Big Bird for a minute. Like
For a minute, yeah, he just
popularity wise.
Barney did not have the staying power.
That's right.
He just did not sustain his career. He did not diversify his projects enough. I
Right.
think.
I can see Big Bird right now. It's like, Barney thought he was hot shit. He ain't nothing now. Nobody knowed him from nothing.
Big Bird would never use that language, sir.
I think you don't
How
know.
dare you?
You don't know him like I
Dare
know.
you? You are disparaging Big Bird. I will not have it.
Big Bird smoking a stogie. He's like, he thought he was hot shit. He ain't nothing now. Like I buried them all them motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not co-sign. I do not approve
Hey.
of this Big Bird impression.
Hey man, I heard things. All right.
This is hurtful.
It's Big Bird slander.
But then Selena Gomez, she moves on. She says that part of the reason that she's there is because she's single again, and she's heard that SNL is a great place to find romance. She points out that Emma Stone met her husband there, and Scarlett Johansson met Colin Jost there, and Pete met Machine Gun Kelly there. That joke probably would have landed harder if Pete was actually in the studio.
Just another reminder that Pete could not be bothered to be on this show.
And yet we're still bringing him up.
Yeah.
And then and apparently her standards have fallen so low. She's just like, at this point, I'll take anybody.
Which I don't believe for 1 minute. She's,
No, I think she is probably still discerning in her
yeah,
quest for love.
she's a beautiful woman. I mean, what's the flip?
Yeah, she's how old is she now? Like 28, I heard.
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. I was discussing that at the social thing I did today because I was like, I don't know how old she is. So,
Okay.
and somebody told me she was 28, and I believe them. So
She was born in '92, so yeah. Oh, she might be 30, right? 30.
she's got to be at least 29 then.
All right, there you go. Boom.
Yeah. If she's born in 92 and time is still linear, yes. Okay.
Okay. And yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So she says
So
she's
she
single.
says she'll take anybody, and then we cut to Kyle in the audience saying, "I'll do it,"
Right.
and it's Kyle being awkward, and she's like, "Oh no, I don't feel like that's our journey.
Yeah, because no one wants Kyle.
No one wants Kyle because he's awkward and maybe not conventionally handsome."
Yeah.
And then she says, "Besides, aren't you married?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." I kind of like that. That was cool.
Yes, because yeah, Kyle did get married like a year or two ago.
Okay, I did not realize that,
Yeah,
or I'd forgotten that.
he's betrothed.
I don't tend to keep track of the people's love lives, so
Well, maybe you should start, sir.
maybe I should. Maybe I should. That's my new project for the summer. Um, and then we had new cast member Jeff come out and say, "Hey, I can do it." And Jeff, for some reason, says that his name is actually James, which I don't think is true.
No, it is. It's James Austin Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, she called him Jeff, like as a joke. His name's
So he's not Jeff, is what you're saying?
right. It's not Jeff.
Huh.
It's James Austin Johnson. He's been on the show for a
Come on,
couple.
that's not a real name.
Yeah, no. I look. Hey,
That
man.
is like three first names strung together.
No, it is. It is. But wait, who names their kid Johnson as a first name? That's a thing.
Johnson could be a first name, sure.
Can it?
For the sake of this bit, yes.
All right. Yeah. You know what? Yes, and I forgot the first one.
Yes,
Fuck.
and.
This is why I got kicked out of IO. I'm so sorry.
Exactly. Yeah, but she points out that James Austin Johnson is also married, and he's like, and then Punky Johnson comes in, and she's like, "Hey, I'll do it." This was cute, I thought.
Yeah, I thought this was cute enough.
Yeah.
It was nice to see she did a quick little impression of Miley Cyrus. I thought was all right because
Mm-hmm.
her and Miley are good friends. Like,
Decent Miley Cyrus impression. So
yeah,
she's obviously spent a lot of time observing her and the way she speaks.
right.
So.
I kind of wish they could have worked that into a sketch. Like,
Yeah, I'd say save that for a sketch, man.
yeah.
I thought it was a decent monologue, a little dry, and I honestly don't think it needed the Barney stuff.
Yeah, the Barney thing where they're just saying the "I love you, you love me." That felt, I want to say cringy, but I was like,
I just thought it was a kind of a weak closer.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think just she's single and looking for love. I think that gives you enough material for the monologue.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess maybe they just thought maybe they felt like they didn't know how to end it, so they're like, just sing the Barney theme.
Yeah,
And she even admitted she was kind of nervous. That kind of showed through a little bit too. I don't.
yeah. She seemed like she had a little bit of nerves.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like because that's like another thing I've noticed throughout this episode. She's very low energy, and like I don't know if that's her
Yeah,
thing. I don't know if that's the nerves or she just naturally just kind of.
I don't know. Is she like that on Only Murders in the Building?
Yeah, she kind of
Okay,
is.
so maybe that's just her vibe.
I guess so. She's just like constant. She's just Daria.
La la la
La
la.
la la.
All right. Anyway, first sketch: Bratz dolls. This starts out with Heidi and Kyle telling their daughter, Selena Gomez, not the literal Selena Gomez, but the character that Selena Gomez is playing, whose name I did not write down. They tell their daughter that they're divorcing.
Right.
And then Bowen. Oh, no, wait. The daughter wasn't Selena. Selena was one of the Bratz dolls. Who was the daughter?
Sarah Sherman.
Sarah Sherman. I'm sorry. I only watched the sketch once. I apologize.
It's okay.
And then, yeah, so Sarah's Bratz dolls, Bowen, Selena,
and
Gomez
80.
and 80, they come to life, and they
Right. And she's looking for the dolls to comfort her in her time of need because her parents are breaking up,
yeah
and they're Bratz dolls, so they don't comfort her at all. They just kind of insult her and, you know, just, break down exactly how Bratz dolls looks and try to hook up with her dad.
yeah.
I did not
This
write much for this.
I did not write much either. My only note outside of describing the basic premise, where I forgot to write down Sarah's name, was this was dire.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, I guess it campy would be the right word, because it seems like they 80 and Bowen like to pair up quite a bit for us,
Yeah,
and like when they get together, you get something very camp. Um,
yeah, that's true.
it kind of relies a little heavy on the fact that if you remember Bratz dolls, the big dolls that were a
Which
huge
I
thing.
only vaguely remember them. They were like a big thing in sometime in the early 2000s.
Yes, very much so. They're kind of
Yeah,
like badass Barbie dolls. Like, they have big
right.
full lips and, you know
But they looked a little more like almost like Funko Pops.
a little bit.
They
Yeah,
they had those sort of proportions. They had like very big heads and
yeah, exactly.
but they were all like very stylishly dressed. Not
Yeah,
stylish like dressed up, but stylish like,
exactly. Very much
hip.
so. Yeah, hip hops.
Yeah.
Wearing Jinko jeans and the like.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, mm, yeah, this sketch was kind of it wasn't the best way to start the show. I felt it was a little stale, and there was like a few
Yeah.
good lines here and there, like 80 calling Sarah a stupid queen and telling her
Yeah.
how they watch over her every day, like God, but slutty. I was like, all right, that's
I
something.
mean, Amy and Bowen were like throwing themselves into it in their performances. They were giving it their all. I didn't think the sketch was very funny, and maybe if I had any kind of nostalgic affection for Bratz, I might have dug it, but I don't, so I didn't.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And
So
and in the sketch, they do something that I noticed they kind of do a lot in SNL sketches lately, where they put a song in there that kind of
yeah,
describes what's happening. And I was like, oh, and I don't know. Part of me kind of feels like, oh, are they just putting a song in there because people know it's catchy and people like music, and that's just a good way to sort of, fill up time if you don't have like really clever
yeah. Are we
dialogue.
just trying to pad the sketch? I don't know.
Yeah, like I've noticed like a lot of sketches and pre-tapes, they kind of do that where they just, oh, let's put a song in here about what's going
Yeah,
on. People like music. It's kind of like when you see a music comedian go up on stage, how how comedians feel like, oh, that guy with a guitar is kind of cheating because people just like to hear music, so you can kind of maybe
well,
not have.
when you see a comic go up on stage with a guitar, you're like, this could either be really good or just really awful. There's not much middle ground.
Very true.
So
But yeah, the sketch, I thought, all right, well, this is a rough
yeah,
start. We're off to a rough start.
rough start. This one, by the way, written by A.D. Bryant, Bowen Yang, Celeste Yim, with an assist from Claire O'Kane. I don't
Mm.
know what the assist was. I mean, maybe she like sets somebody up for a free throw shot or something. I don't know.
From downtown, Claire O'Kane.
Anyway, so we've had our first sketch, so it's time for a pre-tape. And this week, our pre-tape was called "Old Enough: Long-Term Boyfriends." This,
Yeah.
yeah,
What were we gonna say?
I was going to say this is apparently based on a Japanese game show where toddlers run errands by themselves. So already, this sketch is insane in the best possible way.
Yeah, I looked it up. My wife had kind of heard about this show. I
Uh-huh.
hadn't heard about the show until I saw this sketch. And yeah, apparently in Japan there's a show called, like you said, Old Enough, that's been on since like according to Wikipedia, since like 91.
What?
So
What?
it's been around for a while.
The show has been running for nearly 30 years?
I think so. I think it was on in 91 and maybe they stopped and then they brought it back. But either way,
Okay,
it's a
okay,
huge
that
hit.
makes more sense, but 91, oh my God.
That's what it said in Wikipedia. Hey, man.
Wow, that is no. I'm not questioning you. I mean, I was not expecting it to go back that far.
Me neither. Hey, we're full of surprises. Life's full of surprises.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's like you said. The basic premise is the parents send a young toddler, like usually between the ages of 2 and 5, down the
Uh-huh.
street to run an errand all by themselves.
And they carry like a flag to, I guess, mark them as part of the show, or just say like, "Hey, don't worry, this toddler is running an errand by himself. Nothing to be concerned about."
I didn't abandon my child. He's just getting me a pack of smokes.
I just and they're carrying like little bags and so they explain the premise of this Japanese game show. I guess it's a game show or a reality show. I
It's
don't know
a
what it is.
reality show.
Um, and they explain the insanity of that
Right.
for people like us who have not heard of it before. And then they say they're going to do this in America with an equally helpless group, long-term boyfriends. So I think this is a great premise.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll tip my hand a little bit. I thought this was sketch of the night. I really liked the strong
Yeah,
premise. And of course, in the beginning, we see Selena Gomez and her long-term boyfriend, played by Mikey Day, and
yeah.
she wants to send him out all by himself, all alone out there, like a big
And
boy.
Mikey is playing a 34-year-old man, but throughout the sketch, he can so not function in society. He is basically a toddler.
Right. She just wants him to go to the Sephora,
Yes,
get her an eye pencil, go to the store, buy
a
two.
Smashbox eye pencil with night mist. I wrote that down.
Right. And go to the store, buy two shallots, and
Mm-hmm.
then come home, and that's it. Everything is like
Yep.
4 blocks away.
And he's like, "Are you coming with me?" And she's like, "No, honey, no, sweetie." And
Yeah.
again talking to him like a toddler. I like how they just maintain this throughout the sketch. He gets to Sephora and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, I need to see the makeup, and Heidi is there as the clerk and just saying, "Oh, honey, it's all makeup here."
I,
And
yeah.
he tries to ask for it by name, and it comes out as Smash Mouth Nightwing, which
I like the little touches in this sketch, because they do try to make it look exactly like a Japanese reality show with the big
yeah,
colorful text and the
yes,
voiceover. It's like, yeah,
hmm
you can do it. Oh,
yeah.
you're a big boy now. Like all
Yeah.
that stuff you would see in a normal Japanese show. I did like those little touches.
Yeah, I mean, those were nice touches. I love that he tried to ask for the makeup by name, but it comes out as whatever random shit is in his head, and it comes out as Smash Mouth's Nightwing. So
Right.
The band Smash Mouth and Nightwing, which was Dick Grayson's identity when he gave up being Robin.
Mm,
So
I like it. I have a new online persona now called
Smash Mouth Nightwing.
right.
Yes, we should change our profile names to Smash Mouth Nightwing.
I'm on it.
And then he goes to like a bodega to get two shallots, and he runs into another boyfriend on the way.
Yes, we see Keenan, who's
Yeah,
38 and a half years old.
38 and a half. Again, acting just like a toddler. And he explains his errands. He's getting dry cleaning, and what was the second thing I'm forgetting?
A cream that costs $80.
That's it. That's it.
And then I think Mikey asked him, "Are shallots onions?" And the boy's
Yeah.
like, "Yes." Okay,
Yes.
goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cute. They also show him like picking up an egg and cheese bagel, even though he just ate an hour ago. He gets distracted by a billboard of Anna de Armas, which right there with you, buddy.
Hey now, hey now,
And then
Verdi.
he gets the bodega. He tries to buy two shallots, but because he thinks they're the same thing as onions, he gets two 5-pound bags of onions.
Yeah, he tried.
And Selena Gomez's character, when he gets back home, she's not really surprised. She's just like, yeah, he brought me this stuff. He tried. It wasn't the right makeup either. It was like a blush for African American women.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, we should break up. We're basically just roommates at this point.
Yeah, I like the little twist at the end where it just kind of got really real. And started like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's. I also like that there was one part where they cut back to Selena when he's out
Oh
doing the
yes,
errands, and she's like, yeah, he's good when it comes to things like his things he knows about like DraftKings and his adult Legos, but
right.
he's only 34. He's out there on his own. I'm getting. I'm
Yeah,
nervous about him now,
I'm
and
gonna have a bottle of wine. I mean, a glass,
yeah, it's 10.
and it's like
Yeah,
10 a.m.
it's 10 a.m., but it's fine. You can cut that out, right?
It's and Yeah, I think this was probably sketch of the night for me too. I thought it was just really original, and Cecily Strong's narration added so much too. She really nails that sort of dry, neutral tone. And
Right.
when Cecily leaves the show, and I don't know if she's going to leave this season or not, maybe even money, but I am really going to miss her narration skills when she leaves the show
Yeah.
because she adds so much to these pre tapes when she narrates.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, again, like it's still up in the air as to whether she leaves or not. It's still up in the air if anybody's going to leave or not.
Yeah,
I,
no, we don't. I mean, they usually announce that stuff very last minute.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, on SNL Twitter, people were debating like, "Well, when are they going to announce this stuff?" And I just replied to, I think it was Bill Brodsky. I was just like, "Yeah, Tuesday, 6:43 p.m."
okay,
So
they're going to hold you to that, my friend.
yeah, no, no.
All right, just be ready.
So,
Be ready.
but yeah, really strong sketch. That's definitely one to check out on the YouTubes. It's called Pre-Tape Old Enough Long-Term Boyfriends, written by Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel.
Strong sketch. Strong.
Strong sketch. Next, we had Peek at Piku, or
Peek at
Pico.
a peek at Pico.
A Peek at Pico
Right.
with Selena Gomez and Melissa Villasenor as two Latina women hosting a talk show.
Right. It's called,
That's
yeah.
sort of like a newscast.
It's more like, I mean, I saw online people were kind of comparing it to Bronx Beat.
Uh-huh.
It or some people were comparing it to this Mad TV sketch from back in the day, Dishing the Dirt with
Okay.
Lita and Melina. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's basically it's like yeah, it's like a sort of like a daytime morning talk show with
Mm-hmm.
two Latin American women who I guess maybe you can call them cholas. I don't even know if that's derogatory or not. If it is, I apologize.
I don't know. I just went with Latina.
Okay, yeah, let's. All right, damn it.
I had someone recently, the Latino persuasion, saying that Latinx is frowned upon by many
It is.
uh, people of the Latin persuasion, which I'd never heard before.
I thought that was the word. I thought we.
I was under the impression as a white liberal that was like the nice, correct gender inclusive word, but this person was saying no. A lot of Latinos and Latinas don't care for that.
So what do we
I
do?
don't know.
I'm so confused.
I don't know. I
I
don't know.
don't know what to do.
We're trying.
We're trying to be better. We're trying to be better.
So Selena and Melissa, they keep cutting away to Mikey out in the field as trying to do a field report from a park, and they keep cutting him off after the introductory lines because they think that's everything.
Right. Yeah. So basically, it's called a peek at Pico because they're reporting on their town of Pico Rivera in California. It's in
Mm-hmm.
southeast LA, and yeah, they kind of talk in that Mexican Californian accent, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like of course their big catchphrase is, "Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
sad."
and apparently this was a sketch that or a character that Melissa had been wanting to get on the show for a while. She did post about that she was very happy to finally get this character on the show.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's this is like something that only Melissa could do, and only Selena could do because
Yeah.
they're both Mexican American, and so like they're because of that they have their own like sort of they add their own little authenticity to it, and it definitely reads better when they do it, and the two of them had good chemistry too. I'll admit that.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah,
that.
they did have a decent chemistry. The other guests on the show were Heidi playing a librarian, or as they introduce her, a lady who hangs out with books.
Mhm. That's isn't that the description of the job description?
Yeah, yeah. And then Chris Red comes on as a rapper, and again, it's awkward.
Yes, always.
I didn't take too many notes for this one
Yeah,
because
yeah, me neither. I didn't have too much to say about this. Like,
this one, again, it didn't really work for me. I think it really just comes down to I am too Caucasian to appreciate this sketch.
it's definitely a what's the word? Maybe a urban sketch. But I mean,
Yeah,
I did like the the catchphrases, the way they talk, the way Melissa had the sort of south of LA accent. Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
hey, what's
enjoyed
going
how
on?
specific they were with the characters, but I don't feel like I have the background to like
Right.
appreciate this.
Yeah. No.
Like if I'd known people like this in my life, yeah, I dig it more.
Yeah, I think it definitely needed more because it is a very specific type of person they're both emulating, and I
Right.
don't know if everybody picked up on that. Everybody was like, "Oh, I guess they're doing like you know, Latino Mexican person or something," but like they're doing
Yeah.
like a very specific Southern California, L.A. type of person with with their the way they speak and their affect, and like I don't think a lot of people kind of caught on that, but you can still sort of appreciate it, like the way the catchphrases. Oh, that's good, hey man, that's pretty good, hey. Like you can sort
Hmm.
of I sound like Chico and the Man when I say that. I realize that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I think
It's not my job.
looking good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like I thought that was good. I thought the um what you call it, the back and forth between Selena and Melissa was good. But yeah, I will admit, like I think it needed kind of more
Hmm.
in order to sort of really get off the ground. I don't think there was much there in order to like really elevate this sketch. It was mostly just
Yeah.
watching Selena and Melissa interact with each other that kind of carried it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Agreed.
was pretty much
Agreed.
it. I think it just needed
All
more.
right.
It needed more.
Yeah. All right. So next we have Irish Play.
Mm.
This premise of this one, it's like an off-Broadway show. The entire cast has gotten COVID, so they're having an all understudy cast, and they've gone on with very little preparation. They had 30 minutes of rehearsal backstage, um, and we start out with Keenan introducing the play, and just he says, "Yes, there is a penis in this show." But if you post pictures of it online, we're taking it out of the show. So just enjoy it and let it go. Which I think good advice about penises in general.
Yes, absolutely.
Just enjoy it and let it
Just
go. And I
enjoy it.
guess that's sort of riffing on one of the actors in that Broadway show, Take Me Out.
Yeah, Jesse Williams. He plays.
Yeah,
I, I don't know. I don't know too much about the play, but like I do know.
the play I know it takes place uh, it's concerns a baseball team, and then one or maybe more of the members are gay,
Yes, and
and there is male nudity in the play. I know
yes,
that. And
Jesse. Yes,
Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family was in this revival.
right. And Jesse Williams. You do. He does hang dong. You do see it,
Yes,
and I guess somebody took a picture of it and put it out on the social meds, and
right.
it leaked, and the dong leaked, and now it's everywhere, and here we
Yeah,
are. Now we all know about it. We all know.
because people are horrible.
Yes, we can't have anything nice.
Yeah, this seems to happen whenever somebody gets naked on Broadway. I mean, it used to be like you could see a show with nudity in it, but now when everybody has a cell phone camera in their pocket, the
Yeah,
temptation's just too much, I guess. But ugh,
yeah.
that's so creepy.
I don't know. That is true. The temptation is too great for somebody to be like, "Oh, I want to be the person to put this out in the world," and then you take a picture of Daniel Radcliffe doing Equus and put it out there,
Like,
and here,
don't do that. Just watch the damn show.
yeah, enjoy the art, you heathens.
Just be a person. Can you
Yeah,
just be a person, please?
just be a person. Don't just be, man.
Yeah.
Crying out loud.
So uh so the understudies in the sketch, they're struggling through this play, and they can't really do Irish accents well,
Yeah, this sketch was all over the place.
and they're blanking on their lines, and Keenan is backstage leaning into a window, and there's just so much of him commenting and prompting, and
Yeah, this sketch is a lot.
it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, this was a first for me because towards the end of the sketch they bring in dogs.
Yeah.
So we have a sketch with Cecily Strong and dogs, and I didn't really like it.
Wow.
Um,
That's how bad the sketch was. Cecily Strong and dogs weren't enough to get you to give a thumbs up to this thing.
yeah, there was
I
just
It was too much
this
happening.
was just a big nothing for me. I mean, I did like how um, Bowen Yang comes in at the very end, and he's playing the actor who's supposed to expose his penis in the show, and they say early in the sketch, "Oh, that's not for another hour." and he comes on stage very alarmed, and he's like, "It has to be now."
Yeah.
I
I, I, I
thought that was cute.
that was funny. That was a good point. But
I liked how urgent he was about it. I thought that was funny,
gotta be now,
and
man.
everyone and Keenan's just like, "Well, okay, well, just show your penis to the audience then."
It's gotta be now, man. It's gotta be happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, so there were a couple funny things in that, but yeah, it was just kind of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the way Keenan opened the sketch where he's talking about how, like you said, like everybody in the cast has COVID. They could have canceled tonight, but I'm in a fight with my husband and I need to be
Right.
out of the apartment. I was like, all right,
Yeah, I
that's funny.
mean, that's a funny intro. That's
Yeah,
a funny justification, but
yeah. And then they
I
said,
saw some people online were just like, "Wait, why are we doing this? Are we just dumping on understudies?" Or
yeah, I mean that seems like I think some people are taking it a little personal. Like I don't think they
yeah, maybe
think,
maybe it's like acting Twitter that's doing, because
yeah,
like understudies are awesome.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
mean, because you learn not just like one part. You usually are like swing for three or four parts. I don't know what's typical, but and then you go on at like a moment's notice most of the time with very little rehearsal. I mean, you're familiar with the show, you've watched the show and all that, but
yeah,
I mean, how cool? I mean, it's disappointing if you're not seeing the big celebrity you're there to see, but things happen, especially in the age of COVID, and
hmm
it is very cool to see a talented understudy just kick ass.
yeah. No, absolutely, I hear you.
There was like a viral video a little while ago with uh, Hugh Jackman was doing the Music Man, and the female lead came on to substitute for Sutton Foster, I think it was,
Oh,
and they were just showing her curtain call, and Hugh Jackman was like, "Hey, this is how awesome she is," and she did this on, and he was really just like pumping her up. It was nice to see.
it's phenomenal. All
It
right.
was a feel good video.
Oh, I like feel good. I like to feel good. I don't like to feel.
Like, yeah,
I don't want to be the miserable old crank all the time. I want happy. I
no,
want love and joy and happiness.
yeah, we all do.
Yeah. I wish some of that was in the sketch, but
Yeah, I wish I could have gotten some love and joy and happiness from this sketch, but no, not so much.
yeah. I mean, again, it was. I think there was just too much in the sketch. I
Yeah,
mean, when Keenan just kept popping his head in and out, delivering lines and
it's just
interact.
way too much of that.
Yeah, and the
Way
whole
too much.
thing, where like they would cut to m- um, Mikey and Melissa in the
Melissa.
audience. That was totally unnecessary. You don't need that at all. Like they didn't
Yeah.
like all they added were like, oh wow, this is crazy, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that.
Like when we have something weird happening in a sketch, we don't constantly need somebody else in the sketch to be like, "This is weird." We can tell when something's weird, guys.
Yeah, like I thought the whole thing of cutting to them in the audience that was like that's totally unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
agree.
think this needed to be like trimmed down or streamlined a little bit more. It was just, it just seemed very
Something.
all over the place and kind of messy. And again,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. Even the dogs
Let's
could,
move on. Let's
yeah.
move on.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Next we had another pre-tape. This one was Inventor documentary, where Selena Gomez is narrating a documentary about inventor Archie Gizmo, played by, let me see if I wrote his name down, Steve Martin.
Is he new?
I think he's new. Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, hope that.
Don't think he has ever been on the show before.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yep.
hope this breaks him. Hope you get the SNL bump after this.
Yeah, yeah. No need to Google that to confirm. And he's identified as the inventor of the whoopee cushion. And
Yeah,
when I was taking my notes in my phone and I wrote down whoopee cushion or typed in whoopee cushion, it decided to spell whoopee like Whoopi Goldberg.
of course it
So
did.
apparently, I've talked about Whoopi Goldberg enough that my autocorrect just says, "Do you mean Whoopi?"
Again.
Beloved comedian Whoopi Goldberg, co-host of The View, Guinan on Star Trek: The Next Generation and Picard.
Yeah,
Is that who you mean?
we know how much you
And
love to look up Whoopi Goldberg.
and that honestly amused me so much I didn't correct it. So yeah, and Archie Gizmo is talking about how his inspiration for the whoopee cushion was this woman he met at a party called Dina Beans, played by 80, who would fart every time she sat down.
Yeah, now we got fart jokes.
And we got fart jokes, y'all. Um, and
Farting
then we
y'all.
find out this woman was thoroughly unlucky, and she also inspired many other novelty items like snakes in a can from when she opened a can of peanuts and there were 4 live snakes in there.
Yeah.
Joy buzzer from when she was like lightning struck her, I think it
As she
was.
was shaking somebody's hand, yeah.
Yeah, shaking somebody's hand, lightning struck her. Googly eyed slinky glasses from when her eyeballs fell out of her skull,
Yeah.
and electric gum from when she was chewing gum and also struck by
By
lightning.
lightning, yes. She got struck by lightning multiple times. Once while indoors, somehow.
Yes, that's a feat. That's a feat. And they're also like, because they're trying to make this look like a documentary. We also have a lot of Photoshop pictures of young Steve Martin with famous people of yesteryear, like Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, there's one shot where like he's talking to Sinatra while
Yeah.
Dina Beans is getting electrocuted inside the Copacabana or something like that. And,
Hmm.
Sammy Davis is like, oh, wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and we find out that Archie Gizmo has fallen in love with Dina Beans, and they've been together all this time, and she's still just as accident prone as ever.
Right.
This was cute. I enjoyed this. I particularly like seeing the pictures of young Steve Martin with dark hair
Yes, absolutely. I'm with
because
you.
that's always fun.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I thought this was cute enough. A lot of production went into this pre-tape too. Like I've noticed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean, like the costumes and they tried to replicate the look of the '60s and the '50s like
Mhm.
pretty well. Like even the footage looked like grainy and whatnot. It was like, oh wow, a lot of time and effort went into this pre-tape. A lot of time and
This
effort went into this thing about farts and eyeballs falling out of people's heads.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of a quick sketch. How long was that one? Let me see. Scrolling down, where the heck is that in the playlist?
Mm-hmm.
It's 3:34. So yeah, not it didn't overstay its welcome, which I liked.
Yeah, I thought this was fine enough. This one.
Yeah. And this, by the way, was written by Adie Bryant, Martin Harley, John Higgins, Ben Marshall, and Celeste Yin. So nice job,
Ah,
folks.
PDD boys.
And it's always nice to have a gratuitous Steve Martin cameo.
Of
People were thinking we'd see him and/or Martin Short because Selena Gomez was coming on, and those people were half right.
Yeah, just give yourself a half point for that one.
Yeah, just start to pat yourself on the back and then stop halfway through.
Yes. Go to pat yourself on the back, and just as you're about to hit yourself on the back, just
Yeah.
stop, and then
So
go.
really, just like wave your arm over your shoulder.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's what you earned.
That's what you were.
Um,
You lucky duck, you.
you lucky so and so. Next, we have our musical guest of the week, Mr. Post Malone. He's posting Maloneing it up.
Yeah.
Uh, his first number is called "Cooped Up," and this he also guest starred Roddy Ricch.
Yeah, he was Roddy Ricch was a musical guest on SNL before, right? Or I think either he was supposed to be on it, but then COVID hit and he didn't get to be on it, or
Uh-huh.
he was on it. Yeah, cool
I
story, Darren.
don't remember, so maybe.
All right.
Should we Google it? Probably not.
I'll look it up, but like
Okay.
I remember. Oh yeah, back in January, he was supposed to be on SNL, but he pulled out because of COVID.
Okay.
On the that was the Ariana DeBose episode where they got bleachers to fill in for him.
Oh, okay. There's there's been so much turnover with hosts and musical guests, particularly this season. It's when somebody's replaced, I just kind of dump that out of my brain.
So this is Roddy Ricch's official first time on SNL, even though he was scheduled to be on back in January.
Okay, cool. Well, it's good that they were able to work him in before the end of the season.
Absolutely.
And very impressive production wise. Again, Post Malone had this huge bank of lights behind him. I was wondering, like, do his people set that up, or do the SNL people set that up? I don't know. Or do they work together?
I don't know. Maybe
Does he bring a crew? I'm sure he has an entourage, but does he bring like his own crew people?
like lighting crew and all that.
Yeah. Does
Sound
he
crew?
bring those lights, or do they just break those out at S? I don't know.
I don't know. We gotta.
Decent enough song. Like we said before, very auto tuned.
Yeah, like he kind of sing raps, and
Yeah.
he holds the mic with both hands and auto tunes, and Gets down on one
Was
knees.
Roddy Ricch freestyling his section? I thought he might have been.
Uh, I I don't think so. I think those were all
Okay.
written lyrics. Those weren't off the top of the dome, as the kids say.
Okay. All right. It seemed spontaneous enough that I thought like he might have been freestyling, but I don't know.
Nah, I don't think rappers today freestyle really. It's all like prepared.
Okay.
As far as I know, that's why these
100% prepared material
yes,
for the rappers.
yes, of today, not back in my day. Back in my day, hip hop would be freestyle, and it'd be
Right.
dope and fly and what have you.
Hmm.
I said it.
You did. You did say that thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then the second song, uh,
Yes.
uh,
Love Hate Letter to Alcohol, and this was featuring Fleet Foxes.
right. This
Lots of smoke in this one.
lots of smoke.
Lots of smoke. He's like emerging from the fog.
Yeah, he said, "Turn that smoke machine up to 11."
Yep.
I want to
And
choke.
the lyric that really jumped out at me was, "You're the reason I got my ass kicked."
Mm. I didn't even notice that. Holy shit!
Yeah, yeah. He's just sort of like his love hate relationship with alcohol, and just
I
yeah, I love doing it, but yeah, you cause a lot of problems in my life too.
Yes, alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Yay, Simpsons reference. Yay.
Yay! But yeah, both performances I thought were okay. Again,
Hmm.
like I said, sing rap, auto tune stuff is usually not my forte.
Yeah.
I like hardcore boom bap East Coast hip hop raps because I'm from the
Yep.
streets, as we all know. I've said this numerous
Right.
times.
Yes.
But overall, I thought it was pleasant enough. I thought it was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was decent. It's not my type of thing, but I was like, well, this is decent enough. I didn't find it irritating.
Rave
I
reviews.
know that's damning with faint praise, but what you gonna do?
Right. I can only hope we get an iTunes review that says such kind words. SNL nerd. I didn't find it irritating.
If you ever want to leave an iTunes review for us that is like a deep cut for SNL or a deep cut of this podcast in particular of some absurd thing that we've said or some absurd, like, I mean, one of my favorite things was when we got an iTunes review that said medium talents, and I was just like, okay, that's gorgeous, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And I later found out that was a friend of mine.
Ah.
So
All right. Well, whatever.
So thank you to David Ace Gutierrez for that.
Yes. The thought that counts.
I love that. That made me smile. So yeah, if you ever want to review this podcast with a deep cut SNL reference, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Please.
Please do. Please do.
Please.
And all right, so next we have Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Makache.
I didn't really take down many notes or write down many lines from this update. I really thought it was solid jokes throughout. I thought it just maintained a nice level
Uh,
throughout, with one exception.
yeah. I had a few funny jokes that I really liked.
Lay them on me, buddy.
The one that Trey had about how they're discontinuing the iPod after
Yes.
after stopping production after 20 years because iPod or Apple products become obsolete when they become older, just when they become older than the kids who make them.
Solid joke.
Solid joke.
Solid joke. Yep.
I like the joke where Colin Jost talks about the 14-year-old chimpanzee that got pregnant. The zoo janitor was interviewed and said, "She told me she was 18.
I somehow missed that one.
Yeah. You missed the bestiality joke?
I missed the beastie. I don't. Yeah, that's somehow I missed that one.
Did,
Wow, that's a good joke.
did you miss the one about Kevin Spacey appearing in a movie about Genghis Khan's grandson? Quote
I
Kevin.
remember Kevin Spacey's picture being on the cryon behind him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a movie about Genghis Khan's grandson, and quote Kevin Spacey, "You had me at grandson."
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's going to be back
yeah,
to host anytime soon.
no, probably not. I
Yeah.
think his hosting is done.
Yeah.
Talented actor, horrible human being.
Cosign.
Yeah. Um,
All right, so we got to talk about it, I guess.
okay, so
I
Kyle brought Baby Yoda back.
I knew we were in trouble when Michael Che introduced him as saying, "Well, with Obi-Wan Kenobi coming, the Obi-Wan Kenobi
Yeah,
Disney Plus show coming on." As soon as he
yeah.
said that, I was like, "Oh no."
Oh no, oh no. And I did not watch the show live last night. I watched it on YouTube this morning, so I saw some stray Twitter comments and things, and I actually texted you. I was like, "Wait, is Baby Yoda on this show?"
Yeah. Uh,
And I was like, "Oh no, oh what the hell."
I will admit this wasn't as bad as some of the previous Baby Yodas, but I mean,
But it's so played out now.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I watched this. I just wrote down in my notes, why has my God forsaken me? Uh,
Let me ask you something. Has Baby Yoda reached the high heights of hated SNL characters members as has it reached Californians level with you?
I don't know if we're at full Californians level, but we're at least at Chad.
Mm,
We're at DEF CON Chad right
okay.
now.
So just below Gilly.
Gilly was okay at first, and then yeah, got very sick of it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Baby Yoda, I never liked much to begin with. I don't think.
Yeah, like even when he first brought it out, back when Baby Yoda was like a huge thing and everybody was talking about, oh, Baby Yoda, you see Baby Yoda, I love Baby Yoda. Like, even when they did that and the first time he came out, I was like, all right, I guess it's an interesting take.
Yeah, and
And it
then they
just
just
kind of
kept going
stayed at
back
that
to
level for
yeah.
for years.
And this time, Baby Yoda, he's become kind of this hipster. He's got like this long goatee thing, and he talks about how he's in a cult now with Jared Leto. Um, who else? Tito Tequila was in there,
Yeah, because he's a spiritual now, so
right?
he's in like he has a community like you said, Jared Leto, Santana, Bob the Builder, Bob and
Oh, and Santana with the guy who did Smooth with him,
Rob Thomas.
Rob Thomas, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a hard one. Remember that song, Jen? Remember that?
I do, and now it's going to be in my head for the next.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Baby Yoda is the Smooth of SNL recurring sketches, where it's just like you hear the opening of it, and you're just like, oh god, this thing again. Ugh.
Give me your heart, make it real, oh, let's
I
forget
mean, I
about.
started out liking Smooth, but
Yeah, it's rough.
but you just heard that opening lick, and you're just like,
Yeah,
again, really?
it.
We're still doing okay, but they made it up to us.
Yes.
They made it up to us. We had they introduced field correspondent Sarah Sherman reporting. She's doing a little backstage tour of SNL.
Yeah, this was so refreshing.
This was great. She starts out in the audience, and she's like, "Hey, it's been a great weekend update with great jokes, but specifically from Michael Che."
So like right off the bat, we see, oh, there's gonna be Colin bashing. Great.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that they found a new twist on the Sarah Trolls Colin Jost bit. Because if she'd done another death piece, I think it would have been enjoyable. But this made it just different enough. I thought it was cool.
Right. Like the fact that she's not behind the desk, she's actually like behind the audience and she goes
Yeah.
backstage to the
Mm-hmm.
office. I love that. I also love the
Yeah.
fact that like she's wearing like her loud, bright colored like
Mm-hmm.
floral pantsuit and she has a microphone with a picture of herself on it.
Yeah, it's got the little box right below the microphone, and she's pasted pictures of herself on it. She walks there and she's like, "Oh, they're the crew members who all think I'm an ugly boy."
Yes.
She shows like a rack of her outfits, and then she leads the audience, or she leads the cameras over to Colin Jost's dressing room, and she's like, "Let's go look inside."
This is good.
And you're already just kind of cringing in anticipation. First off, did you notice that there were like a few piles of Colin Jost's book scattered throughout the dressing room?
Oh, I did not notice that. Holy
I
moly.
when I rewatched this sketch, and I've watched it like 3 times now,
Okay.
I noticed that he somebody or the set dressers put in small piles of Colin Jost's book, A Very Punchable Face,
damn, I'm sorry I
which
missed
I
that.
thought was a really nice touch.
See, I
So
caught it.
kudos.
Yeah, I didn't see. I caught another Easter egg, but I'll talk about it in a minute. But I wish I
Okay,
saw
okay.
that.
I mean, and she says, and here his mirror that has all his self-affirming post-it notes like "You are very handsome," you you are the real king of Staten Island,
Nice.
um,
Oh, and
and
then
the audience is just loving it.
yeah, to talk about how you had the dinner with tonight with Giuliani.
Yes,
But I did
yes,
notice this one like sort of little Easter egg that they put in there. Like if you go back, you can see it. One of
uh-huh.
the daily affirmations on the post-it notes. One says, "I'm good enough." Then another one says, "I'm
I'm smart enough,
yeah," and then
and
another
then
one says, "And doggone it,
doggone it,
people like me."
people, nice,
I was like,
nice.
I
Well,
like that. I like
if
that.
you're doing an SNL sketch with affirmations, yeah, you got to do the Stuart Smalley. And
Damn straight.
she has the camera pan around, and there's a giant billboard of just pictures of Sarah up in gold with a collage of pictures. And she's just like,
Right.
"Oh my god, you're obsessed with me." and and then she tries to pull out one specific photo that and she accidentally drops the photo.
Yeah. This was the moment where like I don't. This is a memorable moment because I think
I mean, it's one of those on-camera screw ups that it's better because it was a screw up. I mean,
it
because
really was. Yeah.
they're just genuinely breaking. Colin just died because he just loved it, and he like tries to cover, and Sarah covers. She's like, oh, and what about this thing I just dropped? Because she looks down and she can't find where the photo fell to.
That picture was the punchline, and she just
Right.
lost it.
And Colin dies because there is nothing funnier when you're in comedy than watching one of your friends screw up or bomb.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing. Uh,
Oh my god, it's like
but
crack.
I mean, and honestly, it was so endearing just seeing how genuinely amused Colin was by that, and Sarah just handled it beautifully, handled it like a pro, and just kept on rolling. Uh,
Right. Then we go and see. Then we go off to see in Colin Joseph's dressing room his intern cage.
his famous intern cage,
Right.
yes, it's something he's known for, and he's like, Sarah, please stop putting interns in cages in my dressing room.
Yeah. Oh, we also missed that when she introduced Colin Joseph's dressing room. You know
Yeah.
that the female interns call it the Chamber of Secrets.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then she's looking around more in his dressing room, and she's like, "Oh my God, Colin, are you collecting my underwear?" And she pulls up this huge pair of granny panties, and she says, "I can't believe that you're the guy I've been selling these to." Which I love that just for all the weird twisted stuff it implies.
Yeah, it's implies a lot.
And I mean, I love that Colin is such a good sport that he's just like, yes, let's do this sketch that is you trolling and insulting me for however many minutes.
Yes, I do keep interns in cages. Yes, I do buy your underwear online.
Right,
Yes.
right. And this is like 4 minutes, 10 seconds. And then and at the very end we have Che like reporting on him trying to silence Jewish cast member
Yeah.
Sarah Sherman.
Yeah.
And then she comes back up to the home base weekend update desk, and she's like, "I love you, Colin," and it's very sweet.
Yeah, this was a fantastic moment for the show. This was like, I mean, up until this point, I was kind of feeling like the show was getting a little stale.
Uh huh.
Like a lot of the sketches were like, all right, that's okay, or that could have been better. And this moment just fucking knocked the doors off the hinges. It was like a
This was another highlight of the show for me. I think this or the boyfriend,
all right,
long term boyfriend sketch. I mean, these were both sketches tonight. Those were both wonderful.
right.
Um, And it's funny, like they do. So Sarah is at the desk, like hugging Colin when they're signing off, and he says, "Hi, I'm, good night, I'm Colin Jost," and she just says, "I'm Sarah," and I don't think she ever identifies herself as Sarah Sherman
Um,
because I get the feeling that if it were up to her, she would still be going by Sarah Squirm on the show, and I feel like Lauren or somebody at NBC were like, "No, you have to use your real name."
oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe she kind of.
So I wonder if that's like just sort of a veiled thing, you know?
Oh, yeah. So she can just still go by Sarah Squirm and Sarah Sherman,
I mean,
sort
because
of.
her Twitter handle is still Sarah Squirm,
Mm,
so
like
and she still bills herself as Sarah Squirm on her stand up dates, I believe.
yeah,
So
that's true. So like the two personalities can still like Moon Knight, the two
yeah,
personalities can
yeah.
exist in harmony.
I mean, I feel like that was probably just a necessary compromise she had to make to be on the show,
Yeah,
which
fair enough.
that seems reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, my God. I mean, if there's any doubt that like Sarah's definitely coming back to after that. Like it's like
She's had a wonderful season, and we'll talk about that more in our season in review episode coming up in a couple weeks.
absolutely.
But yeah, she's really carved out her own niche on the show,
Yeah,
which I
no.
love.
Yeah, she's really kind of broken the mold and like it's
Hmm.
she's become a cast member that's like really important to the show now at this point, I'd say. Like people
I mean, because she's got a voice that is not like anybody else on the show, which I think is something that the show really needs. It needs unique comedic talent. By the way, the this segment, the her giving an SNL studio tour. This was co-written by Sarah Sherman, of course, Celeste Yim, Martin Harley, John Higgins, and Ben Marshall. So the Please Don't Destroy guys. So even though we
PDD.
didn't have a Please Don't Destroy short this week, they were well represented on the show.
Yeah, it seems like Sarah and the PDD boys like they work together quite a bit.
They seem to have bonded, and I think there's enough crossover in their comedic sensibilities that they work well together. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. But yeah, I
So,
look forward to more Sarah Sherman in the future because
yep,
this one was a home run as far as I'm
good.
concerned.
I mean, it's if I really wish that they'd started this trolling Colin thing years and years ago because it so gets you on his side,
Yeah,
you know,
no, absolutely.
um, because like the man titled his memoir "A Very Punchable Face,"
Yes, so
and
he
you know,
knows.
so he gets how he can come off, and he can be a tough guy to sympathize with because of he went to Harvard and he
Yeah,
married to the superstar and and
yeah,
and all that, and very handsome, good looking guy with great hair, and
yeah. Wow, you're
so
making me hate him now.
yeah, exactly. So it's so wonderful to see that he's such a good sport that he's just like, yeah, like rip into me for a sustained amount of time, and both Jay and Sarah do that beautifully.
Absolutely. Thumbs
Yeah.
up, way up.
And next week we're probably getting a joke exchange. Yay! So
Yay!
yeah,
Yay!
I posted on Twitter earlier this week about how I was reading through one of our old Facebook threads when we watched the show and just live blogged about it
Mm,
together.
the old good
And,
old days.
and when we got to Weekend Update, I said, "And now Weekend Update starring Michael Che and a ventriloquist dummy that made her wish to be a real live boy."
See,
And
we're guilty of the Colin Jost hate way back in the day.
I used to hate the guy unironically, and now yeah, I've turned around on him. I like him now.
You hear that?
But it cracked me up because I'd totally forgotten I'd made that joke. And so, it hit me hard because, you're the perfect audience for your own
Yeah.
material.
It's like, oh man, I'm hilarious.
And I was like, haha, good one, John, 6 years ago.
Oh,
Tip of the hat to you in the past, sir.
you're the best.
I love you.
You're so damn funny.
You're so damn funny and handsome and witty.
Oh, ho, ho,
I
ho.
just dig you. Um, so anyway, that was Weekend Update. I thought very solid, except for the Baby Yoda thing. But
Uh,
I mean, they ended so strong. I'll forgive them the Baby Yoda thing.
agreed. I'll overlook the Yoda because the Sherman was strong.
Yeah, and Kyle might be leaving the show soon. Let the guy do his Baby Yoda.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
So next we had Three Daughters. This was co-written by Billy Domino and Allison Gates. This had Mikey Day as a prince in a kingdom who slays a dragon, even though nobody in the kingdom asked him to, as Keenan points out. But he's like, oh, well, anyway, you slayed a dragon, so you get to now choose which one of my three daughters you want to marry, because that's how things worked
Right.
back then. And we bring out
Yeah. Good
Ego,
old days.
Selena Gomez, and Kate as the daughters, and Mikey Day's Prince character just says, "Yeah, I'm kind of expecting the one of the three to be weird."
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting way to go about it because it's almost
Yeah,
kind of like meta in a
it
way
got
because
very meta. Yeah,
yeah, because
just
like
just kind of acknowledging the formula that SNL has used so many times of like, well, I'm they'll do a dating game show or something like that,
yeah, or like
and
Kristen Wiig's character, the Dunice.
yeah, with the baby hands,
Yeah, where like
and
they introduced like two women, they're normal. The third woman is a bit off,
yeah,
and the fact that the third woman is played by Kate, who's just known for playing weirdos and
right.
goofballs, that it's like expected that she's going to be the weird.
Yeah, yeah, and we've seen that in so many sketches, and Mikey Day's so good at being incredulous, like what did just happen? But the twist on this is that all three of the daughters seem to be perfectly normal, and he can't pick out what's strange about any of them, and it's really thrown him for a loop. And I really liked it because it was really meta and it was making fun of SNL's formula. Uh,
Yeah, it was. I mean, part of me thinks that I wish it kind of went a little, it was a little bit tighter in the writing because like I felt like the way it ended.
how dare you, sir?
What?
How dare
I'm
you?
sorry. I'm not here to make friends. I say what I feel and think.
Okay, okay,
But yeah, overall,
all right,
I did like that one line where Keenan had where he says, "You must choose one of my daughters before the stroke of midnight." And
right.
then Mikey said, "Well, why? What happens at midnight?" And then Keenan's like, "Well, it's just so late."
Yeah, beautifully delivered. That was wonderful. I love how he just almost threw that away, and great twist, great twist. And there was another endearing moment where Mikey started to break a little bit when he challenges them to do their laughs, and they all have kind of weird laughs, but they're not so weird that they're disturbing or anything.
Right. Like I think
And Kate is almost like a Fat Albert type of laugh.
I
She's like, hey, hey, hey.
yeah, I think she laughed like in the chorus of Blurred Lines, the Robin
Uh
Thicke
huh.
song, like hey hey hey. I think
Oh, well, I guess so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was doing like the blurred lines
It
laugh.
felt like Kate just changed up her laugh just to make Mikey break, and he started to go a little bit.
Yeah,
So I mean, that was cute.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so eventually, Mikey picks Kate's character, Blondilla. Love that name. And they walk out of the throne room, and then as they're exiting, we see that Kate has this big fake butt that's sticking out of the back of her dress, and it's shooting out bubbles.
So she is
So
she is, see but that's the reason why I kind of wanted because like they were getting into this meta thing about like how the third one's always the weird one
right.
and like it was kind of a way of SNL saying, "Oh, we know what you think we're going to do
Hmm.
with we know that you know the formula." So I thought
We know that you know that we know
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So then I thought, oh, so then they're going to do something different that we don't see coming. But then they
Yeah.
kind of went ahead and did the thing about the third one being weird at the end of the sketch instead of at the beginning. So it was like it
Hmm.
was just like a little
So
bit,
that kind of killed it for you.
a little like I felt like I was waiting a little bit longer for the other shoe to drop. That was kind of I kind of wanted them to go like maybe another way with it, but I couldn't think of another way I would want them to go with it. So
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't. The ending maybe could have been stronger, but it didn't kill the sketch for me at all.
yeah, that's fine.
I was very amused.
Yeah, that was
I
amusing.
thought this was a strong sketch. I think it should have been earlier in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have had this instead of the Bratz thing, but
Oh yeah, 100%.
but I kind of get why it's towards the end because it is, I don't know, meta stuff maybe belongs
Hmm.
in the tail. No, no pun intended. In the back end of the show.
See, I see what you did there.
Ah, ah,
Uh,
ah.
All right, so next we have yet another pre-tape. A lot of pre-tapes on this
So
show.
many pre-tapes. What is up with all these
So many pre-tapes. This is like our third pre-tape.
Mamma mia.
My God, man.
Ay, Chihuahua.
And not one of them is a Please Don't Destroy.
None of them.
Not a one.
None of them.
Not a one. This has Selena Gomez and Chris Redd as a couple. And Chris Redd notices they're low on paper towels, so he runs downstairs to the bodega to get some more paper towels. And then Selena's intuition and her paranoia is getting away from her, and Punky appears as like the devil on her shoulder, just saying, "Girl, he's cheating on you."
He at that bitch house.
he's going down to get a little something something from his little side piece,
right? And yeah,
and
she sings a song about it. She said, "Oh, you should go through his Instagram and see what he's doing. You should break his Xbox." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And then she quickly picks up his Xbox and throws it right out a closed window.
Yes.
So quickly.
And later breaks the TV. Lots of breaking of furniture and appliances in this sketch.
Yeah, very very much so.
Yeah, and Chris Redd comes back with the paper towels he went to buy, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, well, like, what?
Why did you throw my Xbox out the window?"
Yeah, and of course he goes like, "Well, like I'm gonna go get my broken Xbox, but when I come back, we're gonna have a talk." And then of course that's when Punky, as the intuition, says to Selena, "You really think he's gonna go out there to pick up a broken Xbox? He had that bitch house."
Yeah, and then that's when Selena breaks the TV, and then after Chris comes back, he starts getting paranoid, and Post Malone is playing his intuition.
Right, because I think at this point Selena tells him like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been very paranoid. I just
and they're gonna have some makeup sex."
Right, like she said, like I've dated bad guys in the past. I've dated basketball players and celebrities, which of course that makes Chris Redd insecure, and that's when Post Malone comes in. It's like, oh, she's getting dude nudes from other.
She gets a text message. He hears her phone ping, and he's like, "Who's texting you so late at night?" And Post Malone is his intuition is saying like, "Oh, she's getting dude nudes, she's getting dick pics, and all their things are bigger than yours."
Right.
And so Chris Redd breaks the table in anger, and
then they're both angry, and then they have angry sex, and
they decide to go have hate sex.
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, while I do enjoy the invention of the word dude nudes,
sure.
Yeah, this.
I mean, it was nice to see Punky get a significant part in a sketch.
Absolutely,
because that doesn't happen often enough.
No, it does not.
It's an amusing cameo from Post Malone.
Yeah,
it's usually fun when the musical guest joins in on the fun and pops up in a couple sketches.
Yeah, that's true. I just maybe the songs could have been a little bit stronger, or they could have. Yeah. I don't know. It needed more.
It didn't have enough of element of surprise for me. I mean, I was just you kind of knew where this was going.
Yeah, that too.
They're going to be paranoid that their significant other is cheating on them. They overreact, and they're not being cheated on at all. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, if you showed me the first minute of the sketch, I could probably do a pretty fair job writing the rest of the sketch.
Yeah, it was pretty predictable, and but it was all right.
It was all right. You know what wasn't all right? The next sketch.
Ooh, let's talk about this.
All right. This next sketch is called Guidance Counselors, with Ego and Bowen as guidance counselors at a high school. And they tell everyone to model. And then Selena Gomez comes on as an alum, and she's become a model. And none of the students want to become models, but then they're like, yeah, we should be models. Yay. And then they're all like voguing. And why did this make it to here?
This was barely an idea for a sketch.
This was so pointless.
It really was.
This was like, I was like, really? You didn't have anything better than this?
This is the thinnest of premises.
Yeah.
You basically described the entire sketch. There's nothing else much to it. I mean, there was one part where Selena comes out saying like how she was on a plane, a man was choking somebody on the plane asked if there was a model on the plane. So
Yeah.
she modeled for him, and she was the last thing that he saw. And that's like, all right, that's
Okay.
okay. But yet,
I mean, I think if you were gonna do this, you need a more absurd occupation than model.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, were they trying to make a joke about like how people are just getting rich on OnlyFans and stuff like that?
maybe. I mean, they were kind of hinting at the point that like, yeah, you're young now. This is the best you're ever going to look at this age when you're young. So
Right.
there was something there, but they didn't go further enough with it.
I feel like they should have gone for. They should have either had like a totally absurd occupation, like I remember Richard Lewis talking years ago as saying he was on candid camera when he was a kid, and he went to like some sort of guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor said, according to all your testing, you should become a shepherd. That's your ideal occupation.
Mm.
If they'd had some weird thing like that, or if they were just if the guidance counselors were just outright saying, "Yeah, you should do porn. Have you thought about doing porn?" and like trying to sell them on porn,
Yeah, I mean, this sketch
or
it didn't escalate. It didn't really go anywhere.
no, it was just there, and I was just like, "Ew, what is this? I don't get this. I don't like this. Why is this on the show?"
Yeah, it's this was the biggest whiff
This
I've
was
ever.
yikes.
This
Ooh,
was nothing. This was nothing.
yeah, big nothing burger.
Oy.
Okay, next
Final sketch.
final sketch. Baby monitor. With uh,
This one had Ego, it had Chloe, it had Selena, it had Chris Red,
mhm.
and it had Kyle. And basically,
Thank you,
yeah,
thank you.
no problem.
So Selena's a girl whose parents are out of town, so she's having some friends over to like party
Right, teenage friends.
and and drink and stuff. Yeah, do a little underage drinking, perhaps some sexual experimentation, whatever the kids are doing
Hey,
nowadays.
man, whatever. Love is love.
I don't know. I don't know. And but she also has to keep track of the baby monitor, and
Right,
Bowen and Sarah are in like PJs, and they're in a giant crib, and we see them through the baby monitor.
right. They play their Selena's twin baby brother and sister, and
Right.
it's pretty impressive set design here with
Yeah.
with the two of them in this giant crib, making them look like small little babies.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're just seeing like a black and white thing, like you would see on a baby monitor, just to make sure that your kid's doing okay, or if they're making some noise, you see how serious it is. I don't know how babies work.
No, who does?
Um,
Who does?
maybe people with babies. I don't know.
Uh, maybe,
Maybe,
maybe, baby.
maybe. But then the Bowen and Sarah, as the babies, they wake each other up, and then they start doing things that are more and more outrageous. At one point, we cut back to them, and they're doing backflips.
Right, they're doing backflips. They're running around the crib. At one point,
Yeah,
we see Bowen like literally pick up like a rag doll that looks like baby Sarah by her feet and just like throw them
yeah.
around.
He's doing like wrestling moves on her. They stare directly into the camera at one point, and they get those spooky glowy eyes, like you
Ooh,
get it for night vision.
good lord.
Um, we have a cameo, another Post Malone cameo.
Right, like he kind of flubs his line at this one because
Yeah, yeah,
he was supposed to say, "Hey Ma, you got any milk? This bread is mad dry." But instead he says like, "Hey Ma, you got any bread? I mean milk. This milk is mad dry." And then he just
yeah,
laughs and breaks and
yeah.
yeah, he's like another baby in the crib with them.
And Selena broke a little bit at one point.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I can't remember what prompted that because I didn't write it down, but
Something one of the babies. It might have been the Post Malone thing.
something with the babies.
Right.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to pinpoint it any further. It's a short sketch. It's only 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Go check it out yourself.
Yeah. I will admit, like I thought the sketch was all right. I did like the end. I liked how the sketch had a
Yeah.
solid ending. Because at the
Hmm.
end of the sketch, we see that the babies are actually looking at a monitor, and then that's when the teens are like, "Wait, are they monitoring us?" And then we see the teenagers find the camera hidden in the living room, and the babies are
Right.
monitoring them, and then it's that same grainy black and white shot. So I was like, "Oh, that's a nice little Twilight Zone
That was a
ending."
cool ending. That was I like half liked this sketch. I enjoyed that we're cutting to increasingly more outrageous stuff with the babies, and Bowen and Sarah are wonderful choices for that, and particularly when you're having them doubled by like gymnasts doing backflips and stuff.
Yes.
And I liked at the very end we had like all four people in the crib, and they're all like just dancing together.
Yes.
That was very cute, but it's also very much of the school of weird thing happens and then people comment on the weird thing happening, and that drug it down a bit.
Yeah, that I mean SNL is pretty notoriously famous for that. I kind of
Yeah,
wish they would do it less. Just let the weird thing speak for
yeah.
itself. You don't have
I
to.
mean, did she need like three friends over? Could it have just been her and her boyfriend? I
Yeah,
feel like we just had three friends just to get more people into the show or this sketch in particular.
yeah. I feel like Aristotle could have been one of those people, but that didn't happen.
You
He's
think, right?
he's right there. He's right.
Throw the man a freaking bone, SNL. What is going on?
Well, I'll get into that, in later.
Did he hit Lauren with a car? Is he sleeping with Lauren's mother? What heinous thing did Aristotle do that made him deserve this?
I mean, I've been on Twitter quite, and people are just they can't figure it out. It's like it is weird. He was on a good start. He had the
Yeah.
Angelo and Laughing Tosh 3000, and
I mean, he was having a slow build. I mean, he didn't like come hot out of the gate like James Austin Johnson did, or but now he's just like a non-entity, and it's just befuddling.
yeah, like it is weird. We had like three male cast members weren't on the show, and we still couldn't fit him in. That's
Right.
weird. That is
And
I'm just weird.
even for a cast member in their first year or a feature player in their first year, he's not getting a lot to do.
No.
He's not even like playing waiters.
Yeah. I mean I don't know what's happening, but I'm sure like maybe a couple years from now he'll put like a tell-all book. Like we'll get to the bottom of this. I don't know. Maybe
One hellacious year behind the scenes at SNL.
yeah. Maybe he'll be talk about it on Mark Maron or something. Like we'll get to the
Yeah,
bottom of this because it is
yeah. Man is not meant to know yet.
right because it is just befuddling what's happening to him.
It is weird. We are befuddled, people.
I am flummoxed, befuddled, and
Yeah.
some other old timey word.
Typically, when you tune into this podcast, we are very fuddled. We are two fuddled people.
Yes,
We know what's going on. We understand the
we're
deal.
full of fuddle.
But this, we are befuddled.
I just can't figure it out.
Are fuddled and befuddled opposites? I'm assuming they are. I
Uh
don't know. I'm so befuddled, I don't know.
yeah, I'm all turned around. I'm all
Yeah.
shook up.
So, what are we gonna do with ourselves? Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was it. That was it. Anything weird happened during Good Nights? I didn't see Good Nights.
No, nothing. It's pretty straightforward. Selena thanked
Okay.
Fleet Fox. I think she thanked Martin Short for some reason, which was odd because he wasn't on the show. And
Well, why wouldn't you thank Martin Short?
yeah,
Really,
I
he's given us so
yeah
much.
I thank him every night.
Can't you just thank Martin Short for no reason? He didn't have like a cameo that we missed somehow, did
I don't
we?
believe so.
We wouldn't have both missed a Martin Short cameo.
No, no, not us. We got it
Yeah.
covered.
Okay.
And
Anyway, this was a very unusual show. I felt like it had a lot of highs and lows.
ebbs and flows, my friend. Ebbs and flows.
Like most of the sketches, I either loved or I just really didn't like them and didn't think they worked at all. I think the only one I was like halfway on is Baby Monitor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean the highs here. Actually, I might have liked Baby Monitor a little bit more than you did, but I mean it's undeniable the highest highs in this episode was Sarah Sherman's moment on Weekend Update and
Yes.
Old Enough, longtime boyfriend edition. That's
Yes.
but yeah the I mean guidance counselors. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the other sketches were just kind of middle of the road for me. And I mean,
Yeah.
Irish Play, I was like, this is such a mess. But
Irish Play was a mess. The Guidance Counselors was a mess. Three Daughters, I enjoyed. I thought Inventor documentary was pretty good. Brat Stalls and a Pico. Neither one
Peek
of
at
them were
Pico,
Pico. The cold open. So there was more bad than good, but there was so much good. I can't totally write the show off.
right? The highs were too high to us just to
Yeah,
give this.
exactly. And really, all I really want from most SNL episodes is like 2 or 3 really good
Yeah,
sketches,
all I want's a Pepsi. Just one Pepsi.
and that's and exactly. Um, and I feel like that's a reasonable expectation. I think if you're going into an episode of SNL expecting everything to be wonderful, you're going to be disappointed.
Here, here.
So
So
yeah,
overall, not too bad, but it's
yeah,
yeah. But like, I mean, the Sarah Sherman definitely saved the night, as along with
mhm,
the old enough sketch. Those two things were home
yeah.
runs.
Um, what do we think of Selena Gomez as a host?
Um, I think she was okay. It's like I said before, she has a very low energy. She's not like
Yeah,
she kind of stays at this sort of calm, monotone, almost
she
Stephen Wright esque type
yeah
of
she I
momentum.
thought she was kind of a mediocre host. She's a little nasal. She's very monotone.
Yeah,
And yeah, we don't see her throwing herself into too many characters and things like that. Like you said earlier, I kind of wish we could have seen that great Miley Cyrus impression in a sketch somehow.
right. But like sometimes her tone, that sort of nasal, sometimes it did work. I think it worked again in the old enough pre-tape, and I think it worked in the Pika Pico too. Like, oh no,
Uh-huh.
that's like there's something like
She seemed to be having the most fun in the Pico Pico
yeah.
thing.
I
Yeah.
think that she got a little bit looser there. That she seemed more.
Yeah.
Everything else, she might have seemed like a little bit uptight. Um,
And
yeah,
I think it was very nice to see Melissa and Punky get more to do than they usually do.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, because yeah, I mean they are really underrepresented on the show. And even if I didn't think their sketches were the strongest things, I just like seeing more of them. Chloe didn't pop up at all, did she?
She was in yeah, she was in the guidance counselor. She was
Okay,
in Baby Monitor. She was
yeah,
around here and there.
very light show for Chloe though.
Yeah, very light.
But she had a nice showcase last week, so I guess that's
Right.
okay. I mean, we just have so many damn people in the cast now.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk about that on our season wrap up. But yeah, so some people have
Yeah,
got to go. Got to go.
we
There's the
got to
door.
cull the cast down a little bit. I
We
mean,
yeah. We
look, I mean, honestly, I'd love to see us like get down to less than a dozen. I don't think that's going to happen. So I feel like 15 or 16 is a more than reasonable number.
I yes, I co-sign
I'm
that.
being generous.
Yeah, it's
I
just
don't think you need that many.
right. Like
I mean,
yeah, I mean I just think we're getting bogged down in like having the favorites just kind of go on and do their thing, and like
right.
just because people like them and there's a comfort level with them.
And everybody's got to do their little victory lap.
Yeah, and
So,
that's fine, but like the time that you give to somebody who people love already, you could be giving to somebody who somebody could love. You
yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
did leave
because
time.
there are people who've been on the show for literally years at this point, like Melissa, like Chris Red, and I feel like they still don't get enough to do on average.
Yeah, like Melissa's been on for like 8 years at this point.
Oh my god, it's been that
It's
long?
been a minute. Like I remember looking up, like Mikey Day's been on the show for like 9 years, like 8 or 9 years. It's been a minute.
So nuts.
It really, but I mean, Mikey gets on quite a bit, and
But yeah, no, Mikey's not hurting.
Melissa
And
Villaseñor.
I'm not sick of Mikey by any means. Melissa joined in the 42nd season in 2016.
Oh, okay, so maybe it's not 8 years. So
So 6 years.
6 years. Still, that's a while.
That's a chunk of time. I mean, that's longer than anybody in the original cast.
Yeah, absolutely. And like
So
she's still kind of not there a lot or not on.
yeah, I mean, just fits and starts.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the episode, guys. Thanks again for listening as always. Yeah, overall, not a bad episode. Not super strong, but the highs were too great to ignore. So we'll give it that.
We can't discount the highs.
Absolutely.
Why don't we see what the people had to say?
All right.
We got some Twitter feedback.
We did.
Um,
We did.
John Ananias at Burton-esque 92 says, in a night of refreshing visibility for new or underused players like Melissa, Punky, and Sarah, it's a Mikey Day bit that I was most interested in. Three Royal Daughters was kind of meta text, agreed, with Mikey baffled by not getting his classic Day Seidel inexplicable person sketch. Yeah, I like that. I mean, if The fact that they cast Mikey in that part, I mean, he co-wrote the sketch, but that made it funnier.
Right. No, absolutely.
Um, and he continues, that slyness almost balanced out the more formulaic. Mikey points out a weird thing business we had in that Irish play sketch, but almost is not actually. And that play sketch was still an unfocused shamble. Agreed.
It was all over the place.
Yeah.
It needed a it just needed like a focus. It was just like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
At one
It
point,
was.
Keenan just comes in and just does both of their lines of. It's just like, all right, so now this is happening. So now,
Let's look. If we
I'm
rehash
sorry, I'm
everything that
sorry.
went wrong in that sketch,
Yeah,
we'll be here all night.
right. Let's keep it. Let's keep going.
It was bad, and you should feel
There it
bad.
is.
There, I win Zoidberg on Irish play.
That's what I wanted to hear. So next up, we got Boardman gets paid. Hello,
Yes.
hello from the ...
Oh my God, where in time are
I
you
don't
now?
know.
We don't. Are you coming from the future? Are you coming from the past? Are you with the present with us? We don't know.
Know what I did not like this? Know what I did not like this episode? I guess that's what happens when you have a bunch of Melissa and Punky. I wanted the Pico to be good so badly. I guess this is what happens when I watch the episodes when they actually air. Peace signs.
Ooh,
Ooh. Also, my quote of the week is: if she can cut off your finger, she can boo boo on your bed, which I wouldn't even use at work. LOL.
yeah, that was a line from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial cold open.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of, like I said, a lot of highs and lows.
Absolutely.
So, all right, our friend Manette Marati, who's at Manette M97, if you want to follow her, and please do. I appreciate them choosing to be inventive and topical the last couple of episodes with the cold opens, but this one in particular felt like an attempt to only get some publicity by talking about it and forgetting to write a good sketch around it.
That's fantastic.
Savage!
Where's the lie?
Yeah, where's the lie, though? Additionally, both sides have issues is not a particularly hot take. It's what any decent person not involved in this case should just be thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said before, I haven't really followed the trial. I said the sketch.
Ooh.
I haven't been following that trial closely at all. I knew about the crapping in the bed thing, and that's about it.
Yeah. From what I understand, they're both pretty terrible people.
I mean, they're both accusing the other of domestic abuse, and apparently there is some truth to both of them. I just don't care that much, honestly.
As you shouldn't.
No.
Our good friend from across the pond, Mikey,
Mikey
says
with two E's, people.
Two E's. Says a bit of a step down from last week. Enjoyed the boyfriend Erin sketch and weekend update was great apart from Baby Yoda. No idea what that was, why it got on, or where the joke was. Is that the most recurring character we have from the last few seasons? Rest feel a bit tired and missed the mark for me, even though we had Cecily and dogs in the same sketch. Was Marty Short there or in a cut pre-tape or something? I didn't see him, but got a thank you in the goodbyes. Hoping for a decent finale next week and a shake-up in the cast for next season.
Yeah. And
agreed.
Boardman gets paid, replies to that. He says, I doubt half the cast is going to be there next year.
And it's a bold statement.
I just gave you a like from the SNL Nerds account.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like it's time.
I think everybody is thinking it's time. I think I remember seeing like Lorne gave an interview like not too long ago saying, it might be time. It's time for a shakeup. And I couldn't agree more. I've been ready for a shakeup for a while. We've been getting new writers in and here and there, and that's fine. But I really think once the cast gets, once we cut the fat and some of the cast people go away and
we got a lot of new writers in, and I think some of those are great. The monologue's greatly improved. Please Don't Destroy has been wonderful. Now we got to look at the cast a little bit.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
And some people, it seems like they just don't want to leave the nest.
I mean, you got to graduate high school sometime, man. You got to leave the college.
And apparently now that time is somewhere like between 8 to 12 years. It's people stay for a long ass time now.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a big discussion about this on Twitter this week, and yeah,
we got
people seem to be agreeing. People gots to go.
Gots to go.
They gots to go.
Gots to. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If I lean into that voice any more, it's going to get racist.
Oh boy.
So,
Please don't do that.
no, I'm saying that is why I am not doing it.
Thank you. I don't want.
I was not warning you. I was saying this is why I'm discontinuing this bit.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Yeah. So those are our tweets. And hey, John, we got ourselves a new review on iTunes.
All right. Okay. You mentioned this before we started recording. I said, okay, is it heinous? Is it awful? And you said, no, it is not. It is a 5-star review. I have not heard this at all. I'll be reacting to this in real time. So lay it on me, sir.
All right. So this review comes from Moosey16.
All right. Already love it. Love the screen name.
And we got it on Wednesday, and it's titled Delightful, 5 stars.
Aww.
These two hosts are true nerds and are a delight to listen to each week. Even the excesses, don't bother me. I'm also a sucker for the overall corny vibes of their own jokes. Good times. So, hey.
The overall corny vibe. Yeah, okay.
I'll take that.
I'll own that.
I'll take that. 5 stars, yeah, I'll take that.
Hey, it's still 5 stars. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right. And I apologize for the ums and yahs and stuff like that. It's a verbal tick. It's...
Yeah. I just said yeah, damn it. I honestly think that maybe they might have been listening to an old episodes, because I think in the earlier years we were still sort of getting our footing. I really think we've both have been more conscious about the ums and the yes and the uhs and the whatever. I think we have gotten better throughout the years.
They pop way out to me whenever I listen to the podcast, which I don't listen every week. But I'm believe me, I'm hyper aware of it, because I also interview people for one of my side jobs, and so I'm listening to tapes back of my own voice a fair amount,
right?
And I can drive myself nuts.
I hear you.
So I don't know what to do about it though.
I love my voice. I have a silky tone, and I just can't get enough of hearing myself.
I don't know. Should I like put a rubber band around my wrist and snap it every time I catch myself saying that, or should I just not worry about it? I don't know.
Don't worry about it. Just be more conscious of it, and just do your best, man. We're all doing our best, and some people like the ums and yes. It's like authenticity, the little accidents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what
yeah.
That's what I'm telling myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And that's the episode, guys. Thanks again for listening as always. If you could always leave an awesome review on iTunes for us, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to donate to our Patreon, you can find it at non-productive.com. Follow us on Twitter.
And I should just say, if you donate to the Patreon, you do get occasional bits of bonus content, because sometimes we'll just keep on talking about stuff after we record an episode, and we put that up as bonus content. So if you want to hear us talk about more pop culture type stuff,
right? Don't you want to hear us talk more? Don't you want to hear more ums and ahs and yes? You know you do.
You know you do.
You know you like it.
You know you do.
And you can follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic.
And
I said that emphatically.
Hey, good golly. And that's our episode. And thanks again, as always, for listening and for reviewing and all that jazz. And tune in again next time for the season 47 finale with Natasha Lyonne and Japanese breakfast.
But until then, nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.